Can you hear me now? So there's no sound. I have no idea what's going on. Um, let me see if I can figure out what is going on here because I okay, so the sound is on now. So it was just me that didn't turn the mic on. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me. As I said, it's a new thing for me. I've never done a live before, and I'm working out the kinks. So just be patient with me. All right, just be patient with me because I don't know what's going on. It's a new system that I'm using. Normally, I pre-record most of my videos, as you already know, but I'm just trying something different. Trying to get my foot in something different, or just trying something different as an individual. People like to try new things. So, thank you for joining in. Just I really do appreciate if you not already subscribed to the page. Just hit the subscribe button for notification and turn your notification on for upcoming videos because tomorrow I'm dropping a videos. I'm having a couple of friends or a couple people that I'm gonna invite so we can talk about and they tell me their feelings as far as the open carry is concerned. But today's video is specifically basically for um, the holster, choosing the right holster that you're supposed to use to carry openly, not concealed. Open carry holster. That's what we're talking about today. This is a level 2. Unfortunately, today I was supposed to receive my level 3 retention holster with the strap that goes over it, just like the law enforcement one that you see most of the law enforcement police have on their hips. I haven't received the packages yet, so um, it's very disappointing because I was looking forward to, you know, clarifying the difference in the holsters and everything. Um, so it's a bit disappointing to me. Hopefully tomorrow on the next live I can, show you the holster itself. Hopefully it'll be here by then. With that being said, just tell me what you think, or if you think you open carry, just send me a message, or I'm gonna invite someone to see if they can join, and so they can tell me what their thoughts are on the open carry situation, and you know, um, what their thought process is, because I know a lot of people are going to get into their feelings, as I said before, and a lot of people don't understand the rules of engagement when you step into this kind of platform of open carry. Because most Floridians, they're used to having their gun concealed. There's nothing wrong with you having to conceal your firearm and keep it at the element of surprise. The element of surprise is always the key factor in any stressful situation, to not let anyone see that you're carrying a gun openly so they can attack you. Because if someone is attacking you when you can openly, you have to know how to defend yourself properly, not getting anyone else hurt and so forth. So it's called situational awareness, where you have to be mindful of your surrounding and where you do go when you carry openly. Most places that you carry concealed, people don't know, people don't have an idea that you have your firearm with you. So it's you keep it on the wrap and you keep it concealed. Element of surprise is always the best option for me. Not saying that I won't be trying it out openly. Maybe, I'm not sure. I have to see what's going on first in the media or law enforcement and how they react to certain things, and just go from there. So as I said, it's new, and it's going to be new to everyone. People are going to sidestep you. People are going to post their signs that no guns allowed in their establishment. But it's not really, as I said before, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer. It's not really the law, it's just their policy. But if they do decide that they want no one to have a open firearm on their property, they're going to ask you to leave. At that point, I would rather you leave or go put that gun away, because if they do call law enforcement now, they can write you a trespass with a deadly weapon, and then it's going to be another whole another ball game, and so forth. So just take into consideration that you got to be mindful that not everyone likes guns. Not everyone knows how to handle a firearm. Not everyone know how to, I mean, treat a firearm safely. So take the necessary steps if you want to know how to handle a firearm. Um, Ask me any questions and leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, to help the algorithm pick it up, whatever, whatever. So, just do your thing. I'm here. Ask me any question you want. I'm waiting to see if anyone is going to ask me a question so I can respond. I'm just asking if anyone is there. So I'm waiting. So tomorrow's segment now, it's going to be a little bit different because I'm going to have a few guests on, as I said before. I'm going to have a few guests on, and we're going to talk about a few things. And um, bear with me for a second. I'm just going through some of the settings here to see what is what. And okay, so let me just invite someone to see if they can. Let me invite a guest. Let me invite a guest to see if someone can give a feedback. It's doing some. This thing is doing some weird stuff. Oh, I see Jasmine there, and I see MC too. Okay, good. Jump into a full screen here. All right, so again, level 2, not a level 1. So you just have to be mindful of how you carry it. Pocket carry, you can pocket carry a gun inside of a holster because the trigger guard must always be covered at all times if you're not using the firearm. Um, but to pocket carry as an open carry situation, that doesn't work. You have to get the right tool, the right holster for, for open carry. So the right holster is necessary for open carry. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to see if I can get a guest on. But this thing here is it's a little bit weird. As I said, it's my first time doing a live here, and it's giving me a whole bunch of freezes and so forth. Okay, someone asked a question. What should be someone's first firearm? It depends on the individual. Um, the first firearm, I would say if you do want to engage in purchasing a firearm, go to the range and shoot a couple different firearms and see what works for you. Because not because it's little and tiny, say for instance, you're a lady or a female, not because a firearm is small, compact, and tiny and look cute, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you or it's going to be the best option for you. So you have to go to the range, rent a few different type of firearms, and shoot a couple and see what works for you and what's the best one you can handle. Because grip and recoil is everything to the individual. Um, Speaking from experience, I first time I got into firearm, I said, okay, I trying to encourage my wife to, get into the same game. I went and purchased one for her as a gift, not knowing it was a terrible decision because she did not like it. The firearm was too snappy, too little. She couldn't control the recoil, so she was all over the place. So I lost the value of the firearm because firearm is like a car. You take it out of the store, it depreciates. So that individual have to go and shoot whatever firearm he or she thinks they can handle, or manage the recoil to see what's suitable for you or for that person. So for the first firearm, yeah, go shoot a couple different ones and see what you like and what you can handle. Any other questions? What's the gun of choice? Someone says, what's the gun of choice to open carry? Um, if you're going to open carry a gun, I wouldn't recommend open carry a small firearm, meaning that concealability doesn't play a factor anymore. Openly, you want to have a high capacity round, preferably if your gun of choice is a Glock 19, yes, you can carry a Glock 19. It's 15 round, 15 plus one. But for me, or for anyone that I would recommend a Glock 17, a full size gun, or any full size gun, to openly carry, because high, and it's a larger firearm, so you don't have to worry about concealing it. It's on the hip, it's openly, and that's my best option. And that's my only suggestion to anyone that wants to open carry a firearm. What's the size of the gun itself? But to each his own. Some people are going to open carry a Glock 19 or Glock 43X, which the 43X, you can get 15 rounds in the magazine also if you use a aftermarket mag that comes from PSA, Palmetto State Armory, or Shield Arms, because the normal standard Glock 19 comes with 15 plus one. The Glock 43 comes with 10 rounds, okay, from the factory. So if you want to up your round count, that would be the best idea. Get a Shield Arm magazine or a Palmetto State Armory aftermarket mag. All right. Any other question, guys? Just feel free to chime in, and feel free to send me a message, ask me any questions, appropriate questions now, right? It have to be related to firearms, no weird stuff. So please just be mindful, keep the community safe, and watch what you say and watch what you do. All right. Just be mindful of others and be respectful. let me see if I can. Is there anything else I've not covered in this topic? Florida has been trying to get the approval notice for years now. The ban for Florida, I think it was implemented 1987, and ever since then, the state didn't allow you to open carry. Now it's different. As of as of September 25th, midnight, you're allowed to open carry a firearm without and but there is restrictions of places you can and cannot go with a firearm. So you just have to be well versed in the law, do your research. There's plenty of research. There's plenty of sources out there that you can find out what's going on. Talk to people. Talk to law enforcement if you have family that are in law enforcement or friends. Talk to anyone to see, or talk to the gun community to see what's the best thing and how do you go about exercising your right to openly carry. Okay? And keep the questions coming. Keep the question coming, guys. Let me see if there's any other questions here. There's new comments. Okay, what should someone talk about? Where can you find the information about Florida gun law? You can watch it in the news or you can Google it. Just type in Florida gun law and places you can and cannot carry, and it'll give you a whole bunch of info. Um, the information is the key, so just remember that information is the key. So if you don't know anything, you can always pick up the phone and call someone and ask a question, or you know, just you can ask any questions to any gun store. Most of the gun stores, they are well versed in the law because this is their daily bread and it's something that they do on a daily basis. So um, it's easy to just go into a gun store and say, "Hey, I have a question. Where can I carry, or where can I find the information about the Florida open carry law and so forth?" Because I think as of next week, people stores are going to be putting out pamphlets of how you can and cannot carry in their establishment. So you know, it's to each his own. Everyone's policy is different. All right. Any other questions? Okay, so Jasmine asked me what got me into firearms. Um, how I became fascinated with firearms is a friend of mine suggests that we went shooting back in the days. And after the first round, I was terrified, literally terrified. I mean, people are terrified of what they don't know or the unexpected result of something just going bow. You know what I mean? So after then, I said, you know what? It's not bad. After the first few shots, I said it wasn't bad at all. Um, it was my sister husband at the time that got me into firearms. German. His name is German. So up to today, he said he break me out into somebody different because he never knew I would take it this far or have this knowledge of how things work when it comes to firearms. He thought he was just gonna take me to the range and let me shoot and so forth. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I kept on going back and going back. And I said, you know what? Let me see if I can get more in depth knowledge on how this thing works as far as the safety is concerned, how the gun works, how you take it apart, and so forth. I came to the conclusion that I just don't want to shoot only. I want to know the mechanical part of it, like to break it down, take it apart, clean it, put it back together, and so forth. And I start doing that on my spare time, and one thing lead to another, and here I am. I can take a gun apart. I can break it down. I can build my own firearm. I can tinker with whatever situation I can customize, and it became a hobby of mine. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, but can be expensive. Just be mindful, okay? All right. So, any other questions here? Let me see. How do you go about that? Let me continue down the line. Where can you find it? Yeah, I read that before. What's your favorite? Okay, all right. Now we're getting into it. Now we're getting into it. What's your favorite? Let me see. Let me see if what's your favorite gun to shoot and carry? A Glock 19. I would not have it any other way. Glock 19, a Glock is my favorite. It's my gun of choice. So to carry a gun concealed, I would choose a Glock 19. To, I mean, it's a do-it-all gun. It's small enough to carry, big enough for a fight. Not that I'm saying go not looking for a fight, but it's what you use for self-protection, if need be, to protect you, family, other people, whatever, and so forth. So, um, someone just text me something, and it is funny. Yeah. So any other questions here? So just let me know. Let me go. Okay, useful information. Where the useful information comes from? You can watch the news. It's all over the news. It's everywhere now. Um, but you got to be mindful that some of the laws still apply when it comes to where you can and cannot carry. As I previously stated, you have to treat it as if it's still a concealed carry law, which it's not, but there's a few restrictions. School, municipal parks, and courthouse, federal buildings, polling station, and so forth. You cannot carry a firearm, even if it's an open situation. You cannot do it. Even if it's concealed, you still can't do it. Those are the places that I know you can't carry a firearm. I think they're trying to implement hospitals now. Don't know how that's going to work because some hospitals are like, I would say a federal building would consider the VA hospital would consider a federal building. A public hospital is a public entity. So on a federal level, it's considered no guns allowed. In a regular hospital, yeah, county hospital, so forth, I don't know how they're going to work around it. As I said, there's a lot of there's a lot of things to take into consideration where people are going to try to implement their own laws and so forth, but their own policies, I should say, not laws, because they can't enforce laws. They can't implement laws. Only Congress and so forth can do that kind of stuff. They're going to try to enforce their own policies, like no guns allowed. There, as I said, they're going to have their signs. So, so just take into consideration that you are going to run into people that are going to not want you to have a gun in their building because they're scared of it or so forth. Okay. Okay. So another question is someone asks, what's the legal age to carry? Let me see if I can go back here. What's the legal age to carry a gun? The legal age to carry a gun is 21. The legal age to carry a gun is 21. Um, they want to change it. They thought about changing it. They thought about changing the age limit because if you can, again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an attorney, but to my understanding, the legal age is 21 for you to own the firearm. At the age of 18, I think you can purchase a rifle, which is a long gun, right? Because there's different classifications of firearms and so forth. Um, the age of 21 is when you can drink or you can purchase a firearm. You do a background check, 4470, get approved by the ATF and so forth. So that's the legal age that I know of. So if you're 21 and you want to go seek a firearm to carry, feel free to do so. You're at the legal age. Okay? But before then, I don't think it's possible. Unless you probably going hunting, camping, fishing with family members on they have a rifle, maybe depending on where you are, you can, have use to that rifle and so forth. So other than that, yeah. Oh, my homie said, what up? All right, homie. Shoot me a question. Yeah, Malachi, shoot me a question. I seen that logo. I know that logo from anywhere. So shoot me a question if you're there. Ask me anything you want to ask me about this situation, this open carry situation, anything about firearms, anything. I'll give you my best knowledge of what I know about firearms and so forth. So, you know, a few questions has been asked before, like what's my favorite gun of choice or what do I carry and so forth. So, you know, all right. So there's another question. He said, what's your thought about people with mental health and firearms? Wow, this one is deep. MC, this one is deep. But you've actually asked a very important question. I am not a doctor. As I said, I'm not a lawyer. But I can tell you from my point of view that I think this is just my suggestion, my opinion, my thoughts. When it comes to mental illness and firearms, you have to be mindful of who you put a gun in their hand. It's a serious issue. Um, people could be just going through depression or having a bad day and so forth. But when it comes to mental illness and gun, I think we should do mental health screening in regards to purchasing a firearm or giving a person the privilege or the license to conceal and carry a firearm every day. The government should take that into consideration that not everyone is on the same level mentally. So we need to do something about that because a gun is a mechanical tool and not everyone, I believe not everyone should be able to own a firearm. Not that I'm trying to restrict anyone from having a firearm or to the right to bear arms, but we should implement some form of mental health screening in regards to owning a firearm. Because if someone has mental issues and they decide they're enraged and so forth, they can use the firearm to create a mass shooting or a deadly situation where they can kill a family member not knowing what they're doing because they're suffering from mental illness or they're going through a lot and so forth. And I think that's where the red flag law was implemented. But I totally don't agree with the red flag law, because anyone can just say, hey, you know what I mean, Brian, I deemed you a danger to yourself and others, and call the police, and I think he's going to hurt someone, and the police comes and confiscates your firearms and so forth, when nothing of that sort ever took place or ever happened. Or you may just having a bad day with someone, and someone decide that they want to you know be vindictive and get you in trouble and restrict your access from owning a firearm. So it's a whole different ball game, and we can talk about mental illness all day. So the stigma is, we should have some form of strategic plan going forward as far as mental illness is concerned and owning a firearm. That's a very good question. A very good question. I still can elaborate so much more on it, but I'm going to jump to the next. Um, Someone says, Malachi says, how should we properly carry a firearm out in public? Malachi, I think you joined pretty late, but situation awareness. To openly carry a firearm in the public, you have to be mindful of your surrounding, because now you become an easy target for the bad guy to just run up to you and snatch your firearm. As I said before, a firearm carrying openly in an open setting, it needs a level 2 or a level 3 holster to secure that firearm. A level 2 holster is what I'm wearing right here, right? You literally have to press that paddle. No one can. So if someone comes behind me and grab that firearm, it's not going anywhere. You literally have to squeeze the paddle right here on the side, right there, and retrieve the firearm, right? You cannot, it won't fall out even if you're running. That's a level 2 retention. It has retention itself, the audible click, and then the trigger guard is locked. So that's a level 2. My level 3 is on the way. The delivery is late. I'm highly upset because I wanted to, you know, show what a level 3 holster looks like, and it hasn't gotten here as yet. So tomorrow in my next segment, when I'm going to invite a few of my friends from the gun community to elaborate on their thoughts and feelings about the open carry and so forth, then I'll show you what the level 3, if it's here by then. So, all right. So that question has been answered. Let me see what else is there. What this question? What is your thoughts on having firearm in the house with a child? Okay. All right. So this one is a very good question too. Having a firearm at home where kids is concerned, you as a responsible gun owner, you need to take into consideration that you need to secure the firearm and keep it out of reach of kids. If your kids is of age and you think as a parent that they should know and understand what a firearm is, educate them, educate them, educate them. Sit them down, talk to them about it, what it can do and what it can't do, and what you're not supposed to do with it, not you're not supposed to touch it and so forth, who you're not supposed to point it at. Educate them or take them to the range and teach them how it works, and have them shoot a few rounds if they're of age. I think in Florida or some gun range have their own policies. Some, a child could be 10 years old and shoot on the range with supervision, and the parent has to be present, because you have to sign a waiver at the range for the kid to be on the range with you. So now you're responsible for your child being on the range shooting. Some other gun range, the age limit is 13. That I know for a fact, because the one I go to, the age limit is 13, right? Having a gun in the house, it's imperative, extremely imperative, to secure that firearm in a safe place and keep it away from kids. So get a safe, have a key for it, have a thumbprint, or you can have 10 different thumbprints. You can go to Amazon, buy a safe for $80, $120, and secure that firearm. Kids go looking for what they're curious about because their brain is still being developed. So curiosity, kids were always going to be curious about new things or things, shiny things. So a gun may be shiny, maybe a black or whatever, but they've never seen one before, so they're going to be curious. So do not leave a loaded firearm laying around for any kids to get their hands on it. Please, a responsible gun owner know where their gun is at all times and keep it in a safe place. As far as kids is concerned, keep it out of reach of kids, okay? All right, thank you. All right, any other questions out here? Feel free to join in. Anybody wants to join in, ask a question, you know. Let me see if I can share this link so other people can join in and I could get their thoughts and their feedback. Okay, so there's another question here. All right, so let me see. Let me put it up on the screen. How will you test function and safety of after repairs? Dry fire, live fire, headspace check. Okay, wow. This seems like it's someone that knows a little bit about firearm. Malachi, thank you for asking the question. How to check the function of a firearm and safely? It all depends on the firearm itself because there's many ways that you can check a firearm to see the function, the headspace, and so forth. To check the safety, you have to make sure the gun is not loaded. So, in other words, to manipulate a gun, you make sure the gun is safe to be handled, right? First and foremost. No magazine, no live rounds, check the chamber, so forth. Then you can take that gun apart, break it apart, check the internals if you know what you're doing. If a safety feature is malfunctioning, you will know by taking it to the range and shooting that gun, pointing it downrange, squeezing the trigger. If something happened, if nothing happens, then you know the gun is malfunctioning. Dry fire. Dry fire is very important. They have what you call dummy rounds, or I have them somewhere here, are snap caps that you can use to dry fire. All right. Dry fire is another way to check the firing pin in your firearm to make sure it's working correctly or not hanging up or not a delay or the trigger is resetting and the firearm is in proper use or it's functioning properly. To check the headspace. When you say checking headspace, are we talking about a handgun or are we talking about a rifle? Because a headspace and a rifle is you can check the headspace between the bolt carrier group and so forth. I will not get into a lot of details about that. But as far as the headspace is on a 9mm, you will check the cartridge itself to see if the ejector is ejecting the cartridge. If it's not ejecting the cartridge, then the ejector on that firearm needs to be changed. All right. So very good questions. I like that headspace. Keep them coming. I'm here. That's what we're here for as a gun community. So just keep it coming, and I'll answer any question I can. What else can I say? What else can I say? Just ask questions. I'm here. Let me comment. Let me see it coming down here. Okay. All right, we got another question here, so let me check it out and see what's going on. Is there any situation, mistake about gun safety that you haven't learned from? Yes. Yes. This one is a very good question. Okay. So this one, situation. In the past, I've had a friend wanted me to do some work on his firearm. Um, I gave him my address. I texted him and tell him to bring me the firearm. With that being said, I told him no magazine in the gun when you get to the armory, right? Take the magazine, leave it in your car, and make sure it's an empty gun when you hand it over to me. Which I am going to check that gun to make sure that gun is safe to handle. I won't give it away yet. He did that, gave me the gun. I sat there and I took the gun apart. It was a Glock 19. Took the gun apart, checked the firing pin because he said the gun is having some safety issue and trigger not reset and so forth. So I went and I took the gun apart and I start looking at everything and trying to figure out what is what, reassemble the gun and everything. And I realized that the trigger bar was bent too far away where the trigger wasn't being reset at all. And I fixed the gun, manipulate it a few times, press the trigger, squeeze it, make sure it reset, right the slide and so forth. Hand him the gun, right? Because at that time I was working on somebody else's firearm, right? I think it was my firearm I was working on. I think I was working on another Glock too. So that's where it came about. And long story short, I fixed the gun and gave it back to him. Turned my back now to work on the table. He's standing behind me. And the next thing you know, I hear him racking the slide, squeezing the trigger, make sure the gun is reset. I work out of my garage. Next thing I hear, click. When you hear click, if you know about gun, you know when someone inserts a magazine into a gun because it's a distinctive sound that it gives you. And the slide was locked to the rear and he clicked and I heard a round chamber because I know when a round is chambered in the firearm. I heard a round chambered in the firearm. Next thing I know, he squeezed that trigger and I heard bow and I dropped everything. I was like, what the hell just happened? The guy was pointing that gun upwards and he shot out a few tiles upon my roof through my garage. The repair job cost him $600 to fix my tiles on my roof. With that being said, remember I told him to leave that magazine in the car. He put that magazine inside of his pocket. Now, God forbid, if he had pointed that gun in an unsafe direction towards me, I would not be here talking to you. But by the grace of God, he was pointing that firearm towards the ceiling when it went off. Ever since then, I let no one walk to my garage door or to my armory with a firearm. I meet them out there and get the firearm and check it myself and clear it, give them whatever they need to get. With that being said, it was the scariest feeling in the world. Right? I do not wish that on anyone. So even though people may be experienced and well versed in firearm, be mindful of negligent discharge because it does happen. I've seen it happen plenty of times to a lot of different people. All right. So to answer your question, MC, yes, that was the scenario. That was what I went through. Did it traumatize me? Not too much, but I got over it. I learned my lesson from that. As far as safety is concerned, It's the number one rule. Be safe when handling a firearm. Any other questions? I know there's a lot of people out there who want to join. Come on, feel free. Hit that button. All right, did I cover everything so far? Let me check here. I am going to see if I can invite someone to join or to tell me what their thoughts are on the open carry. As I said, let me see. Here, press invite. Let me invite. I'm still working out the kinks on this live here, so just bear with me. This system is new to me. Today is my first time ever downloading it, ever using it. So, all right, so let me see if I can add someone here. No. Maybe I should have do some trial and error before I got into. Let me go. I am still here. All right. I guess I'm back, sir. I'm back on the live, sir. Let me cancel it and go back to what I was doing. All right, there we go. I'm back up. I don't. Let me go back and see if there's any new comments or any questions. Answer that already. Firearm, house, children, blah blah blah. Check that. Come on, Malachi. I know you can ask more questions. I know there's a lot more questions to ask. So don't be afraid. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to answer any questions you may have. All right? Any questions at all you may have, I'm here. So just trying to get this thing set right because my table is a little bit off here. So just bear with me. All right. So my final thoughts on this open carry situation. All right. My final thoughts is let's see what happens. Let's see what people are going to say. Let's see what the government are going to do. Let's see what law enforcement is going to do. Let's see what let's see how it pans out. As I said, there's 5 states that you cannot open carry. If my memory serve me correct, California is number 1 on the list. Then you have Illinois, you have New York. Well, I would say New Jersey too, but you know, New York and the what is it again? I keep on forgetting this last one. If when I remember, I'll let you know. And where the president resides, which is Washington D.C. So I think that's another state. So and yeah, that's it. You have 46 different states that you can openly carry a firearm if you have a Florida license. They those states on your license, it's called reciprocity. So you know, tomorrow we'll cover on my next live. I will cover how do you go about the reciprocity, how it works, and so forth, and blah blah blah. And we'll go into in-depth conversation about it. With that being said, thank you guys for joining in. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And when the new videos are dropped, then you'll be, the first to get it and so forth. So let me see here. All right. So just remember, it's breaking news as of um, the 25th, which is Thursday. Then you will be able to open carry. All right. So again, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if there's any other question, just feel free to drop me a text or leave me a comment and I'll answer you. But my final thoughts, I know people are going to ask me this question, or am I going to open carry? Let's leave that for another video. Tomorrow, I'll let you know my thoughts on it. Me open carrying a firearm in public. Because, it's it's really nerve-wracking to some people. And people are going to get into their feelings, as I said before. Okay. So just be mindful. All right. Until then, stay tuned, stay safe. BP Armor 10. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for stopping by. Until then, see ya.